Hello, everyone. Welcome to BetterTalks. Today's program is on entrepreneurship. I'm here with a special guest, and I'm going to allow him to introduce himself.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, the Aspora team, for having me. It's good to be here to share a couple of thoughts with you. And I want to celebrate you guys for this amazing work that you do. I am one of those who strongly believe that for Africa to be liberated, relevant information will be communicated to Africans into the Black community. And what better videos on different platforms to do that? So thank you so much. My name is Javnyuy Joybert. I am a business speaker, trainer, consultant, and I happen to work a lot with business people and leaders and executives. Primarily, my work is in the African continent, but recently we have been working a lot with entrepreneurs and executives in the Middle East and North America, and purposely with helping them to penetrate the African market and what you may call market entry strategies for different clients here and there. And apart from that, I am also a pastor. I am a lover of Jesus, and I talk about this as much as I can because he's my source. And I love to, I prefer to be called a teacher, actually. I always say that the speakers, motivational speakers, strategists, consultants, it's just a beautiful way to coin the word teacher because I believe that teachers are the foundation of the society. So thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, thanks for that brief introduction about who you are. I want us to talk about the 10 P's, which I call the startup process. What do you think about, as an entrepreneur, having passion, potential, purpose, and personality?
Yeah, I think that those are the core, for any entrepreneur to have. And as somebody who has experienced the both sides of running his own company and has provided a lot of startup coaching and consulting to thousands and thousands of startups across different countries, it's possible to see an entrepreneur having a good idea but struggling because of poor personality. It's possible to see an entrepreneur with a good idea, but their level of dedication is not deep because of the lack of purpose, right? And when you sent me the stuff, I was like, oh, this is a coincidence because there's a way I rate those five, and all of those five feature in my personal, core piece that I believe that entrepreneurs should have. And the first always comes with purpose, because I believe that without purpose, your level of diligence and commitment will be questionable, because until you have a higher reason, a higher purpose why you're doing something, when you face certain challenges, you may definitely give up. And trust me, entrepreneurship is crazy. It's it's one of the most craziest things that you can experience as a person. But it is the achievement and the result, it's worth it. So purpose goes beyond profitability. It goes beyond the balance sheet and the profit and loss statement. It goes beyond all of these things, and it gives you that deeper sense of commitment and why you are doing it. And it brings you to that place where you begin to understand that what you're building is not just for you to make money, but it's for you to use that as a platform to contribute to humanity and advance an agenda that can enable the society or the community where you operate to become better. And after purpose, I always bring down passion. And I like to always say that passion keeps you going when the money is not coming. I want to ask you a question. Imagine a startup entrepreneur. Very few startups break even in the first 1 year. Very few. Majority break even in the third year and maybe the fourth year. And what will keep an entrepreneur going when the money is not coming? There's no profitability, sales are not good, customers are rejecting you, everybody's laughing at you that what you're building is nonsense. If you are not heavily passionate about what you're doing, you will quickly give up. And worst of all, when the sales are not coming, money is not coming, you quickly give up. So show me an entrepreneur who is still going when the profit and loss is wrong when he's having rejections, I will show you somebody who is heavily passionate. And that is why passion is a core element when it comes to succeeding, and most importantly, crossing the startup phase. Because when you cross the startup phase, which could be the first 3 years or first 4 years, for some people, first 6 years, then at some point when the systems are already there, you just keep on going on steroids, and maybe you're just perfecting and improving, and you're no longer suffering the way you used to suffer a couple of years back. And now that brings us now to the third one, which is personality. As I said earlier, you can have a very good idea, but your personality can destroy that idea. And personality involves a lot of things. It could be the way you communicate with customers, the way you communicate with potential investors, the way you communicate with your team members who many a times at the startup phase, they are volunteers or interns. And when you are dealing with volunteers and interns, when you are not paying them well, if you don't have the right personality, you send them away and you remain alone. You become what I call a one-man army. And there's very little you can achieve when you're alone, right? Yes. So personality is one of those core fundamentals that if you get it wrong, you even your purpose will suffer. Your passion will be a mess up, and your potential will be useless without that personality. You see? So investing in character, in mindset, in lifestyle, and decision making, and having a long-term lens is very important as far as that personality is concerned. And then after that, now the potential is coming, where you begin to dig deep into what you have, what you have been gifted, because everybody that God created, God heavily invested a resource. And I always like to say that God, for Christians, God did not end creation in Genesis. God extended creation by giving us the ability to create. That is why you will not see Facebook in Genesis or will have Facebook today. So God did not create Facebook in Genesis, but he embedded it into a human being to extend the creation in the 2000s, right? And everybody has a unique potential. And that potential is an asset to every entrepreneur. It could be a leadership potential, communication, creative thinking, problem solving, whatever. We all have that. And we need to consistently harness that potential on a daily basis. So as you see, if an entrepreneur gets these P's wrong or they are not conscious about it, and that's why you will understand that personal development is very important for every startup entrepreneur. Many people just think and go create, then they crash. I have seen many, countless, hundreds of young people who is creative, they go start building their product. They skip the phase of training that will open their minds to that person. You are saying that these first 5 P's focus on the person. You know, if I'm saying that you are a podcaster, you come first before the podcast. The person, the personality comes first before the occupation, before the profession. So if you don't get you first, the podcaster will have trouble. So if the entrepreneur doesn't work on the self first, on the person first, we get to struggle with our businesses. So that's where we are with it.
Wow. So you pretty much have it like purpose, passion, personality, and potential. If I can also add continuous improvement, which is personal development. And that's something I believe you mentioned as entrepreneurs, we constantly need to have, constantly improving ourselves, personal development. Exactly. There's a Japanese phrase, kazan, which is continuous improvement, that businesses are constantly improving themselves. If businesses, they're improving their processes and operations, why can't we as the individuals, as you said,
exactly,
and you are the business. So if you're not okay, the business is not okay.
It's not okay, and that's a fact,
If you're not taking care of yourself, the business will not be taken care of. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So personal development is very, very key. So thank you for sharing with us the following piece regarding the entrepreneur. Now let's talk about the other piece for the enterprise, how important and impactful it is to have a plan, which is the strategy, the practice, the execution, the people, which entails the team and the customer, shareholders, and the promotion, the marketing, the pricing, and finally the profit.
Yeah. Let's start with the plan. And you know, one of the things that is important to get right in business is your strategies, is how you're going to do anything, is your priorities. I always like to sum up the word strategy, and that word strategy is priority. What are we prioritizing this season? How are we going to achieve it? And entrepreneurs that don't have priorities and don't have a structured plan of how they are going to advance and or move any important part of the business, they get to build businesses from the place of guesswork. And guesswork has never built a great company. If you do things on the place of guesswork, you will never do great things. You may get lucky once in a while, but look at all the Fortune 1,000, 5,000 companies. Nobody got there by guesswork and assumptions. I always say that in business, assumption does not build a business. It is numbers that build a business. And numbers are the backbone of strategy. So if you're in business, one thing you must get right is your plans, your strategies. If you're starting, what is your startup plan? If you're expanding, what's your expansion plan? If you're launching a product, what's your launch plan? If you're thinking of recruiting, what is the plan to recruit? Always sit down, create it, and make sure you implement it. You see, so that P of planning remains core. And with things like, for example, the COVID-19 that came, and businesses that did not have a plan were very heavily affected, more than those that did. That's a fact. Because when you begin to plan, it's better to plan and let chaos come and make you focus. But when chaos made guesswork, that's disaster. Because you are not even ready for anything. You are not even structured for anything. So, but when you have a plan and chaos comes, there's something that gives you stamina while you develop agility and dynamic plans to adjust to what just happened. And for you to move forward and relevant in 10 years, you must have a plan that will make you relevant in that 10 years. So it's something that we must keep on going in it. And one important thing about this point is let us learn to be agile with the plans, because the world is changing, technology is changing, things are happening. When you're agile, it makes it easy for you to begin to adapt and build products and serve in a way that fits the latest dispensation. Yeah. The next P was after plan.
Practice.
Practice. Execution.
Promotion. Yeah.
Okay. Now, that is where strategy now get the results. Because if you are not executing, I would like to say that you are called a CEO because you get things done. Chief Execution Officer. That's what you're supposed to do. That's your job. And if you are not practicing, if you're not executing, your strategy is basically useless. That's why if you give the best strategies to a business person who is full of procrastination, it's going to make no sense. I even have a book called How to Move from Chief Procrastination Officer to Chief Execution Officer. Because with that, and that's where many people get it wrong. You build strategies, and I think that with many of my clients, you build strategies for good clients, for give clients, they get and sit on it. You build the same strategy, give to another client in the same industry, different country or different city, they produce results and triple their sales. Then you begin to wonder, the major difference between client A and client B is that execution, that practice. And practice is not cheap. It's not fun. It's going to take a lot from you. It's going to require sacrifice.
Yeah.
And the backbone of practice is self-discipline. You have to do what you have to do when you said you will do it. It's very important. And when you begin to do that, that is how you begin to experience the result of the strategy that you develop and how you can even adapt when necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, the next step is people, which consists
People.
of team and the customer.
Absolutely. I just shared a short quote on Facebook that if you are going to make money, learn how to bring value and people together. If you cannot bring value and people together, you will never be able to make money. And
People together.
all the money we are looking for is in somebody's pocket or bank account. That is your customers. Yeah. And if you want them to give you their money, you have to give them value and give them a good experience. And a one-man army can never win a war. You need a battalion. You need thousands of people if need be. And that's where the team comes in. If you are going to execute, if you are going to do more, achieve more, you need to efficiently know how to recruit people, and not only that, but heavily invest in talent development and creating a good experience for the people that work with you. And when you begin to grow, you begin to see that you're going to need shareholders or investors. You're going to need money from other sources so you can advance the agenda or the vision that you have. And that's why I always say that every true entrepreneur is also a diplomat. You are good at lobbying. You are good at treating people. You are good at honoring people, so they give you the money you need so you achieve what you want, right? And you can see that in all the top entrepreneurs across the world. So people management skills become central for all entrepreneurs. Whether you're managing customers, your team, shareholders, even government officials, these people are important for you to actually build a business. So if there's one thing I always advise entrepreneurs is take a short course on psychology, human psychology. Do it. It's very important. Know how people think. It's very important. Know how to treat people. Learn certain things that can honor people and make people value the relationship that they have with you, because you are going to need it consistently. Even the tax people that we don't like, at some point you will need them for certain clarifications, right? Yeah. So people, if you're not a people person, you're not really intentional about that, you're going to struggle to entrepreneur. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Promotion, marketing.
Yeah, marketing. There's a famous quote that people always say that I say, which is, no matter how good you are, if nobody knows you, you're a talented poor man. Wow. Have the best idea, have the best logos, have the best cars, best equipment. If nobody knows what their company is doing, you will be a talented poor entrepreneur. Heavily talented, but nobody knows you. And the only way to solve that is to invest in promotion, invest in marketing. And this marketing is wherever your customers are, make sure you're there. Whatever channels they're using, make sure you're there. If there's one thing that you must not get wrong, don't get your marketing wrong. Do not get your marketing wrong. Do everything that you need to do, from market research, channels research, whatever that you need to research, and begin to market the right way. And if it means recruiting the best, I always tell people, study the chief marketing officer recruitment trends across top companies. Look at the kind of people they recruit. You'll see that is a key position in any company, that they don't take it lightly. They bring the best from other sources and companies to mount that position of chief marketing officer. And many times you will hear some entrepreneurs say, oh, I'm not good at sales. I'm not good at sales. If there is one skill that you must learn, and learn at all costs, is how to sell. It's how, because with no sales, there's no money coming in. Your accountant is useless without sales. You will not pay staff without sales. You will never take care of yourself without sales. So whatever you need to do, lead generation, lead conversion, whatever that falls on that little thing called marketing, you have to get it right. You have to get it right. Further studies, good. Further courses, good. Get a consultant, good. whatever you need to do, you don't have to leave that to chance or to assumptions or to guesswork, because it is the foundation of how that business is going to move forward.
Nice, powerful. Pricing.
Oh, yeah. If you cannot monetize what you're creating as value, I don't see how you're going to cover costs, how you're going to be profitable. And you see, it is value creation, value packaging, then value monetization. These three things, you have to get them right. If whatever you're creating as value, create it well, package it well, and packaging, that's where the promotion starts, or the marketing starts. That's where even the pricing also starts. When you package it, you have to monetize it. And how do you monetize it? By determining how much it costs you to produce, and logistics and all of that, at your margins, and then you get a good price. And you should be conscious of what are you going to use to determine the price when it's in the market? Are you going to use competitors' pricing price at the same level with them, above their pricing, below their price? Whatever you're deciding, but by all means, you need to put a price on the value that you are creating. And you need to do proper research to make sure that, and this is one thing that many entrepreneurs get wrong, or they don't intentionally focus on. One of the most important things to research when it comes to pricing is to determine the price that you are giving. Are your target market, are your customers having the income level that they can afford that price? Because no matter how good your product is, if you price above the income level of your target market, they will, like they say in Cameroon, your product fine or the money no day. Right? So in local pidgin, your product is nice, but there's no money to do. Admire it, but they will not pay. You see, because it is way above their monthly income level or annual income level. So when pricing, we should not only focus on how much are competitors pricing, how much are they doing that. It's good to look at that, but one core thing to look at is the target market, because you can have competitors in the same industry. Meanwhile, some people are targeting people in urban areas, you'll be targeting guys in semi-urban areas. Or while they're targeting workers, your product in that same industry is good for university students. So just copying your pricing is not good enough. Take it deeper and ask yourself, this pricing I'm giving, is it within the income level? Can they quickly buy? And then the last thing about pricing I'd like to talk about is, when you're pricing, also check your product. Is it a nice to have product or a must have product? A product that is a nice to have, people can do without and they will not die. They will not experience certain pain or certain struggle. So if you price in a funny way, they will ignore it and you're in trouble. You see, I always give the example of, and I always tell people example like, iPhones were not made for the African market. But look at the pricing. People who have in Africa have a nice to have, then it's not a must have. So that's why you go to the African market, you see that the other telephone makers from China and Asia, they're the dominant, suppliers across the African continent. Because iPhone is good, but in Africa, in many African countries, sub-Saharan Africa, Central, West, Eastern, and Southern part of Africa, it's just a nice to have. You can get the money for iPhone and you can buy 15 other Macs and you're still being cost and you're being okay. You see, it's not a must have, but other phones have become must have for the market. So you need to make sure when you understand that they also affect your pricing. So when you're pricing a must have, you know that no matter what is happening, they will still get it. And if it's also within their income level and it makes sense with what they're pricing in the market, that as far as competitors are concerned, it also makes sense. So pricing is something that we need to avoid as entrepreneurs, doing it from the place of assumptions and just imagining. No, it needs a lot of data, a lot of analysis. You come to a good price that will make you to be profitable and also serve your customers the right way.
Last P is profit.
Yes. Profit is the foundation of it all. right? Sustainable financial success can only come from the place of profit. And as entrepreneurs, we're in business because we also want profitability. And without profit, you cannot reinvest into expansion, innovation, research and development, and all of that. So, and profit is linked to every other P that we'll be talking about. If you get your promotion wrong, forget about profit. You get your pricing wrong, forget about profit. You get your team wrong, people, forget about profit. Profit is like it's like a last one of the family, right? And every other thing wrong is going to struggle. So profit don't need super calculation or super science. Just get all the other parts right, and profit will sort itself out easily. But when you see a company struggling with profit, when I'm doing consulting, you're struggling with profit, I'm not focusing on, I'm focusing what there are other things already getting wrong. Profit losses is just a manifestation of the other elements that you got wrong. It's an outcome. So when you begin to treat the sources, the root cause of those other problems, profit sorts itself out automatically. So if you're experiencing undulating profit, last month you are profitable, this month you are begging for money to pay for expenses, check. Maybe your marketing, your lead generation and lead conversion is not effective. And that's why you're making money last month and then you are broke this month. Or maybe your team is not very consistent in certain actions. Begin to check other elements and you'll be good. But when you get those right, so use your profit also as a benchmark to begin to analyze. If we are doing things the right way, profit will get itself right. If we're doing it the wrong way, it will manifest in our profits. Yeah.
So, and just to add to what you're saying about, so profits and losses are pretty much the final end result of all the other elements. So if you pretty much execute them properly, then you will get whatever result, either profit or loss.
Absolutely, that is it.
Because I realize that most of us as entrepreneurs, we focus too much on the profit.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll focus too much, oh, how much money am I going to make at the end of this business? But we never want to actually sit down and analyze, okay, how am I going to promote this product?
Exactly.
How am I going to attract the right people? What advice would you give to someone who is contemplating going into entrepreneurship, someone thinking about starting their own business, but they're afraid, that fear factor?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is that you are not the only one going through that. I have started 7 businesses in my life and I've failed in 3. And anytime I'm starting a new business, there's always fear. However, fear is information. Fear is not your enemy. That's where many people get it wrong. They begin to treat that fear as an enemy. They see that fear as the problem. No, fear is data. Fear is information. So if you're thinking of starting a business and if you are afraid, trace what is sponsoring that fear. Maybe you are afraid, you're wondering, will people buy? That's where that fear is coming from. And will people buy can be solved by check how are you going to create the value, get the value creation right, make sure it's excellent. Oh, maybe you are afraid if people will not buy because you are not good at marketing. Oh, can you take a marketing and sales course so you can improve on your marketing? You see, if you are afraid that, oh, will the final product be good? Okay, check your production process. Do you need to get better equipment or hire somebody better? If you are afraid, if you have the right money, okay, sit down, develop a startup budget. Don't start blindly. Sit down, list everything that you need, go online, research the prices, have the actual average budget that you will need. Then look at your account, your savings. Can your savings fund the startup? If not, what do you need to do? Do you need to save some more or borrow some more if need be so you can start the business? So fear to an extent is a gift in business. Whatever you are afraid of, there is an underlying factor that is sponsoring that fear. Research more, sort it out, and you will discover that the fear is going away. And there is a point that you will arrive where all you need to do is to take action, because you can never get everything right in business. Never. There will not be the right time, right money, right place. Never. It will never come. So there's a moment that when it comes, you now ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? The only thing that can happen is I'm going to lose money. All right. Take a leap of faith. And the antidote for fear is faith and action. That's the antidote for fear. Faith and have faith that it's going to work. Then take action. If you make mistakes, self-correct and move forward. And nobody gets it right the first time in business.